Alright, so we're going to talk about fraction and decimal equivalents. Let's talk about things about fractions. What do these all have in common? Take a look at them. Think of what it could be. All of these equal to 1. Anytime you have a numerator, which is the top number, and the denominator, which is the bottom number, if they're the same, then that fraction is always equal to 1. If the denominator is 1, which means the bottom number, then the fraction is a whole number that is equal to the numerator. So if you have 4 over 1, that's going to be 4. If you have 8 over 1, it's going to be equal to 8. If you have 21 over 1, it's going to be 21. So if you look at this, what's going to be the odd one out? If you look here, you have 3 out of 4 shaded, so then that would be a 3/4. Right here you have 3 out of 4 shaded, which would be 3/4. And then 3 out of 4 pieces are shaded here, which would be 3/4. Well, this is 3/8, so that one is our odd one out. What about this one? Let's look at this. Which one would be our odd one out here? It would be 2/3 because this is 1 over 2. Now, if you reduce this fraction down, it would also be 1 over 2. This one would also be 1 over 2. This one would be 1 over 2, and this one would be 1 over 2. So what does equivalence mean? What is a fraction and what is a decimal? Equivalence means 2 or more things are the same. A fraction is a word used to describe parts of a whole. Parts of a whole, like parts of a pizza, parts of a pie, parts of anything. A decimal also describes a part of a whole, but we write it using numbers in a decimal point. So if you have 0.5, how do we work out a decimal? We can get any fraction and divide the numerator by the denominator. So here's an example. 1 over 2. Divide the numerator, which is 1, by the denominator, which is 2. So 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. I want you to try to pause the video, work these out, and see if you get the correct answer. So go ahead and pause and divide these. Remember, you're going to divide the top by the bottom. 1 divided by 4, 1 divided by 3, 1 divided by 6, 1 divided by 8, 1 divided by 10, and 1 divided by 5. Here are your correct answers. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. 1 divided by 3 is 0.3. 1 divided by 6 is 0.16. 1 divided by 8 is 0.125. 1 divided by 10 is 0.1. 1 divided by 5 is 0.2. Now let me show you how I got these answers. We're going to try these problems. If 1/2 is 0.5, then what is 2/2? It's 1.0, or just 1. If 1/3 is 0.3, 2/3 is 0.6. You're going to add them together. That's all you got to do. If 1/10 is 0.1, 4/10 is 0.4. If 1/4 is 0.25, then 3/4 is 0.75. If 1/5 is 0.2, 4/5 is 0.8. If 5/10 is 0.5, that's also equivalent to 1/2. So can you work out these decimals? How would you put this as a decimal? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to count. How many total squares do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 10, which is 10. That 10, this whole line together is one whole. Okay? So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shaded, only half of it is shaded. You have 10 right here. 10. Do you remember your tenths place in decimals? It would be 5 tenths. So 5 out of 10 or 5 over 10 in a fraction form is also equal to 0.5. What about this one? Count how many squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 10 squares. So think of your tenths place will be 0.7. This one's only got 2 shaded, so it would be 0.2. And then this one has 8 shaded, so it would be 0.8. Last one, we have 9 shaded, so it would be 0.9. So 9 out of 10, or 9 tenths. I hope that this video helps. I'm also going to post another video for you that hopefully will help you do this, and then just do those IXL questions.